Welcome to the deep dive. If you're listening, chances are you know that feeling I'm talking about. That deep, unsettling tension inside. Like you're being pulled in two directions at once, constantly sort of fighting yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And this struggle, it often shows up as maybe baffling guilt or, chronic anxiety.
Or that one totally irrational habit, that self-sabotage thing you can't figure out why you do it.
Exactly. And we tend to think, what's wrong with me? I must be broken.
Right.
But a really profound insight when you look deeper is that maybe the issue isn't that you're broken. It's that you're fundamentally, divided.
Divided. Okay, divided between what exactly? We're not talking philosophy here, are we?
No, not abstract ideas. We're talking about a real psychological split. On one side, there's the pressure of morality, what we're told we should be.
The good person.
The responsible one.
Right. And on the other side,
right,
there's the raw pulse of what we actually are, our basic instincts.
Okay. So our mission today in this deep dive is to kind of map that out, the anatomy of the unconscious. Precisely. We want to understand the forces behind this internal war, the one that fuels that guilt and anxiety you might be feeling right now.
All right, let's unpack this. There's this really powerful metaphor that helps frame it. The idea of standing right on the edge between two different worlds. On one side, you've got this clean, vast, totally ordered city. Everything's perfect, labeled. The rules are clear. It's where you get rewarded for, towing the line.
That's a great image for the superego. That ordered city is your internalized morality, the law of the tribe, the echo of every authority figure telling you how to act to be safe, to belong.
But then you turn around, and facing you is, this dark ancient forest. It feels chaotic, alive, wild.
You can almost smell the damp earth, right? The rawness of it.
Yeah. Life and death instinct. That's the unconscious,
That's the reservoir of instinct, exactly. And the key thing is the pull towards that forest, it's always there. It doesn't ask for permission. It just demands to be felt.
And every time you choose the city instead, every time you kind of swallow down that anger or push away a desire that feels messy.
Or bury some envy, that's when you engage in repression. You feel that little tightening inside, maybe. That sense of holding back.
Okay, but how is repression different from just forgetting something? I forget stuff all the time.
That's a great question. Forgetting is passive. Repression is fundamentally active. It's like the psyche performing emergency surgery.
Surgery.
Yeah, to cut out an impulse that feels unacceptable, dangerous, before it can sort of contaminate your conscious self-image. Think about being a little kid, maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
And you feel this boiling rage because something feels deeply unfair. A parent, maybe, you just want to scream.
Yeah, I can picture that. But then you see their face, disappointment, disapproval, or worse, the threat that they might pull away.
Exactly. And in that split second, the child learns this terrifying lesson, this feeling, this rage, this truth inside me. It puts me at risk. It could mean abandonment.
And for a kid, abandonment feels like dying.
Yeah. It's psychic annihilation, yes. So the rage doesn't get expressed. It doesn't get resolved. It gets shoved down into the cellar of the mind, locked away.
And here's the kicker, the part that explains so much of our adult weirdness. That stuff we lock away. It doesn't go to sleep down there.
No, it absolutely does not sleep. It ferments.
Right,
it mutates. Yeah. It always finds a way back. That's what we call the return of the repressed.
How does it return if it's locked up?
It finds detours. If you lock up rage, maybe it comes back as a splitting migraine or chronic shoulder pain.
Okay.
Repressed grief might show up as just feeling numb all the time. Repressed desire could turn into some kind of obsessive compulsion, something you have to do.
So the truth doesn't come back directly, it comes back disguised as a symptom.
Exactly. The symptom isn't the core problem, it's the messenger. It's trying desperately to deliver the message about the buried feeling.
Wow. So it speaks in dreams, maybe? Or those Freudian slips where you say something you didn't need to say?
Yes, slips of the tongue, definitely. Or self-sabotage. Wrecking a relationship just when it gets good, or messing up a job promotion.
Or maybe that weirdly intense dislike you have for a coworker.
Could be, especially if they remind you of some quality you buried deep inside yourself. The unconscious is relentless. If you bar the front door, it'll find a way to kick in the back door, often through your body or your actions.
Okay, so let's map this battlefield more clearly. Using that Freudian structure seems like the way to go. We've got these 3 main players, right?
We do. First, you have the Id. Think of it as the primal cauldron. It's pure instinctual drive.
Sex, aggression, that sort of thing.
Yes, but also creation, connection, what Freud called eros, the life drive, and thanatos, the drive towards destruction, aggression, ultimately stillness. The I just wants satisfaction now. It doesn't care about consequences.
Okay, raw power. Then there's the superego. That's the judge.
That's the judge, absolutely. It's all the internalized rules, the shoulds and musts we picked up from parents, society, the ghost of authority.
And its goal isn't really to make you happy, is it?
Not primarily, no. Its goal is obedience. It wants you to be good, often pushing towards this kind of crippling perfectionism.
And then there's the poor ego. That's the me caught in the middle.
That's the fragile, conscious you, yes. The ego has this incredibly exhausting job. It's like a diplomat trying to translate the id's primal screams into something socially acceptable.
While also trying to appease the superego's constant demands for perfection.
Exactly. It's perpetually overwhelmed, basically just trying to hold the dam together, terrified it's going to break.
That really explains that story of the successful guy in therapy. Everything looks perfect on the outside. Career, marriage.
Check, check, check. Objectively, no reason to be unhappy.
But he's got terrible insomnia, this vague sense of dread.
And then, lying awake, he feels the sudden, powerful urge just to walk out. Leave it all behind. Walk into the night, into the unknown.
Into the forest, basically. Away from the perfect city.
Right back to that metaphor. He wants to abandon the structure.
What is that surge, though? It sounds kind of dangerous, almost destructive.
Well, it contains elements of both eros and thanatos, really. It's not just about seeking something new, a new connection, perhaps.
It's eros.
It's also about the impulse towards destruction, towards rest, thanatos. That deep, unconscious desire to just annihilate the exhausting performance he's built and find some stillness.
And for a split second, before the guilt kicks in.
Before the superego screams selfish or chaos, he feels free. That's the Indian's anthem, freedom, which the superego instantly labels as danger, sin, irresponsibility.
So he stays, puts the mask back on, pushes down the desire for life and the desire for rest.
And the result, insomnia. It's not just a random glitch in his sleep cycle, it's the message. It's the protest from the part of him that was told, nope, you don't get to be wild, you don't get to be free, and you certainly don't get to just starve.
The symptom is the buried self banging on the door.
Insisting on being heard, yes.
Okay, so if the symptoms are the screams, how does the ego keep the lid on? How does it maintain the repression day to day? This gets us to those defense mechanisms, right?
Exactly. The elaborate machinery we develop, not really to fool others, but to hide these uncomfortable truths from ourselves. What we often call coping, psychoanalysis calls defense.
They're strategies the ego uses.
Yes, strategies to protect itself from the sheer anxiety that comes from this constant clash between the id's wants and the superego's judgments. Understanding these is key to figuring out why we do some of the baffling things we do.
Okay, let's break down a few common ones. These things we probably see or do all the time. How about projection?
Projection is classic. You take something inside yourself that you just can't tolerate, maybe a really strong aggressive streak, or maybe deep feelings of inadequacy.
Okay.
And you basically unconsciously stick it onto someone else. You make them the angry one or them the incompetent one.
So the reason I can't stand that colleague isn't really because they're so controlling.
It might be because they're acting out the controlling part of you that your superego absolutely forbids you from acknowledging.
Wow. Okay, so hating them lets me feel like I'm good, they're the problem.
It's an unconscious maneuver to avoid that inner conflict. Keeps your self-image intact, or so the ego hopes.
What about reaction formation? That sounds intense, like bending over backwards.
It really is. It's becoming the exaggerated opposite of a drive or feeling you find unacceptable.
Like how?
Well, say a man is deeply frightened of his own feelings of weakness or passivity. He might become this overly aggressive, rigid, controlling person, a tyrant almost.
So the aggression is actually a defense against the vulnerability he fears inside.
Exactly. Or someone deeply ashamed or conflicted about their own sexuality might become a really outspoken, maybe even harsh moral crusader against anything they see as vice.
Building a fortress of virtue to hide the fear.
A fortress built on fear, yes.
Okay, I feel like intellectualization must be super common today, turning feelings into data.
Oh, absolutely. It's a powerful defense. You take raw, painful emotion, grief, rage, terror, and you transform it into abstract thought, into theories.
So instead of feeling the searing pain of a breakup, you analyze attachment styles and communication metrics.
Precisely. Or you discuss your rage purely in terms of neurochemistry and triggers. It lets you examine the wound from a safe distance, using jargon-like armor, without ever having to actually feel the raw pain.
It keeps vulnerability at bay.
Ego loves that. And then there's displacement. This feels like the everyday go-to for stress.
Kicking the cat, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. You redirect an emotion, usually anger or frustration, from the original, often dangerous target.
Like your boss who could fire you.
Right, and you unload it onto a safer target, your partner, your kids, traffic, the poor cat. You get a momentary release, the pressure drops slightly.
But the real issue, the feeling about the boss, is still sitting there untouched.
Untouched and still charged. It just gets kicked down the road.
So all these defenses are constantly working, patching things up, keeping the buried stuff buried. But what happens if you get too close to the truth? Like maybe in therapy.
That's when you hit resistance. Resistance is like the unconscious bodyguard. It's the silent veto that pops up precisely when you start getting close to the core repressed material.
How does it show up?
Oh, lots of ways. Suddenly forgetting appointments, feeling overwhelmingly bored or sleepy during a session, intense skepticism, this is all nonsense anyway, or deciding abruptly, you know what, I'm cured, I feel fine now, let's stop.
Wherever you feel that pullback, that let's not go there.
That's where the unconscious is actively fighting to protect the repression, to maintain the status quo.
And often what it's protecting goes way back, doesn't it, to the ghosts of childhood. It's not always about big T trauma, right? Just conditional love can do it.
Absolutely. Deep emotional wounds don't require outright violence or abuse. Feeling that your core needs are a burden, that love is conditional on performance, that you have to be perfect to avoid emotional abandonment that shapes the psyche profoundly.
That's where the superego gets its rule book from.
Yeah.
That inner voice screaming, if I'm not perfect, I'm worthless.
And all of this internal drama is fueled by what Freud called libido. We need to think broader than just sex drive here.
Okay. What is it then?
Libido is the fundamental psychic energy. It's the juice. It's the energy for desire, for connection, for curiosity, creativity, for life.
So it's our vitality.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when the superego's prohibitions, shame, guilt, fear, block the flow of that energy, it doesn't just vanish. It has to go somewhere. It turns inward.
Okay. So when desire or need gets blocked, the energy that should have gone into connecting or creating, it becomes anxiety instead. That line, symptom is libido in chains, that makes sense now.
Exactly. Think about it in practice. The person who learned early on, my neediness is too much, it pushes people away. They might become the adult who constantly runs from intimacy even though they crave it. The libidinal energy that should fuel connection gets twisted into fueling avoidance.
Or the person who always procrastinates right before succeeding.
Maybe unconsciously, success feels dangerous. Like standing out invites criticism or punishment, like it did in childhood. So the energy for ambition gets rerouted into self-sabotage, or they keep attracting partners who offer only conditional love.
Because that feels familiar. Tragically familiar, but familiar.
Familiar feels safer to the unconscious than the unknown, even if the unknown is healthier.
And these old patterns, they don't just stay in the past, they replay, right? That's transference.
Transference is the mechanism for that replay. It's the unconscious process where you take feelings, expectations, conflicts from significant past figures, usually parents, and you project them onto people in your present.
Like your partner or your boss.
Yeah.
Or even your therapist.
Especially the therapist. Imagine a patient talking about their controlling partner. The anger, the resentment feels so immediate, so current.
But you're saying the intensity might not actually be about the partner.
The partner might trigger it, but the deep well of resentment, that 20 years of feeling suffocated, that's likely echoing an earlier relationship. Maybe a parent whose love felt like ownership.
So the partner becomes a screen onto which the old drama is projected.
Exactly. The unconscious is trying to replay the scene, hoping for a different ending this time, until the ego can finally see it for what it is. Wait, this feeling is old. This isn't just about my partner now, this is about my past.
And realizing that allows you to react differently, to stop the replay.
That's the hope. That's where change becomes possible. Which brings us towards the turning point in this whole process. The goal isn't really about fixing yourself.
What is it then?
It's more about witnessing yourself. The raw, unedited, unarmored you, and the breakthrough. It often doesn't come with fireworks.
No big aha moment?
Sometimes, but often it's quieter. It might just be the moment when all the performing finally stops and the person whispers, maybe almost to themselves, God, I'm so tired of trying to be good all the time.
Wow, that phrase, tired of being good, that feels huge.
It is huge because in that moment, there's a flicker of realization. You start to see the superego not just as this harsh inner critic, but maybe as a terrified part of you. Yes. That relentless voice demanding perfection. Back when you were small and totally dependent, it was desperately trying to save you, trying to make you behave in ways that would prevent abandonment.
So the internal war, it wasn't really me against my instincts.
The crucial shift in understanding is seeing it wasn't you versus your desires. It was your survival instincts versus your authentic self. You repressed parts of yourself because you needed love and safety to survive, and expressing those parts felt incompatible with getting those needs met.
But the cost changes when you're an adult.
Drastically. As an adult, the price of continuing that level of repression isn't avoiding abandonment anymore. The price becomes the slow annihilation of your true self, your vitality, your joy, your authenticity.
So the work then becomes facing that buried self, the one that raged, the one that wanted, the one that maybe wasn't always good.
Confronting it and perhaps grieving for it, grieving the life you didn't let yourself live because you were trying so hard to be acceptable.
So that this internal war, the conclusion isn't about one side winning.
No, it's about integration. Realizing you are both armies. You are the prisoner and the jailer. The path forward is about the ego becoming strong enough, compassionate enough to hold both. To listen to the id's needs and the superego's fears without being overwhelmed by either.
To let them finally have a conversation, maybe.
To allow them to speak, yes.
Yeah.
Mediated by a more aware, compassionate ego.
Okay, so let's try to bring this home for everyone listening. What's the main takeaway here if you feel that internal struggle?
The core message is really this. You are not broken. You might feel buried under layers of defenses and shoulds, absolutely.
But underneath all that rubble,
Beneath the rubble, the raw, wanting, imperfectly alive self is still there. It's still breathing.
that's hopeful.
It is, but it's also challenging. Because the truth of this kind of exploration, it's often about reckoning, not instant comfort. The goal isn't necessarily to achieve some kind of perfect, static peace.
What is it then?
It's about achieving presence. Being present to the reality of the internal conflict, present to the parts you've buried, present to the feelings you've forbidden.
Which leads to a pretty confronting question, doesn't it?
It does. What are you willing to sacrifice? Not to silence the inner conflict, maybe, but to finally truly listen to it. What needs to be acknowledged?
Think about that for yourself. What's the thing you swore you'd never admit, never say out loud, the thing your body already knows, the thing your dreams keep showing you, the thing your symptoms might be screaming? Let that be the question you carry forward from this deep dive.